In this video, I'll demonstrate some common vulnerability scanning settings. Now, there are plenty of vulnerability scanning tools, but there are many settings that they all have in common. For example, over here on the left, I have a series of scanning profiles that can be used when I conduct different types of scans. So for instance, if I were to choose complete and combination scans, I've got full vulnerability assessment as a profile, which I can edit, by the way. And when I click edit this profile, I can determine exactly what is being done when that type of scanning profile is used to conduct a scan. So depending on your tool, you'll have hundreds upon hundreds of items that get checked, and of course you can customize by removing check marks or by adding items. However, I'm going to leave that alone. Also, if I were to click, for example, Network and Software Audit on the left, these are other types of scanning profiles. I can see I've got profiles here for scanning for Trojan ports, a generic port scanner, software audit, TCP and UDP scans, and so on. Now, of course, we've got scheduled scanning options if we want this to happen on an automated basis. But in this tool, GFI LandGuard 2014, if I go to the Scan tab, then I can determine exactly what it is I want to scan. The scan target is currently set to the local host. However, if I click the ellipsis button, the button with the three dots over to the right, here I can click the Add New Rule link, and for example, I might choose an IP address range. So it knows my local IP subnet, so it's filled in the starting and ending IP address. However, I could specify whatever it is that I wish, depending on what it is I want to scan. So I'm just going to change the addresses a little bit, and I'm going to click OK. And I'll click OK again. And now we can see it's filled in a custom range of IP addresses based on the custom group settings. You see the name that's listed here. Now I can determine whether I want to use any of those profiles that we looked at for conducting my vulnerability scan. Do I want to do a full scan or just a TCP and UDP scan? Maybe all I want to do is look at last month's patches. So I've got profiles for that, or only missing patches, and so on. So I'm going to leave it on full scan. I can tell it here which credentials that I wish to use. So I filled in some alternative credentials that should work on most devices on my network. So I've used the administrator username and the appropriate password. I can also click Scan Options here to determine whether I want to wake up computers that are offline or shut them down when the scan is complete. So at this point, I'm ready to start my scan. I'm going to go ahead and click the Scan button over on the right. So we can now see that the scan has begun, and we're starting to see in the left-hand window the first host that it found on that network with an address of 192.168.1.1. Now it says that the estimated scan time remaining is approximately 6 hours. So depending on the speed of your network, the type of scanning profile, and how many hosts you're scanning will really determine exactly how long it takes. In this video, we learned how to configure vulnerability scanning settings.